Hey guys, so recently I made a pair of Steve Ramsey's marshmallow crossbows, and those are right here. And they work great, they're a lot of fun with the kids, and they shoot really far. They kind of sting even a little bit if you hit each other with them, with a marshmallow. Anyway, I was making them here in my garage, and I was out here sanding one night, and sanding away, trying to make all the, the corners nice and round and everything nice and smooth. And got, sanding dust all over myself, and made a big mess, and it occurred to me, I need a downdraft table. So I decided to make one. My options would be to build a downdraft box that I could sit on my workbench, or I could, move somewhere else whenever I needed it to. But I didn't really want something I had to store somewhere, so I decided to actually build it into my workbench here. And now a little bit about this workbench. I made it with stuff that I had sitting around. When I bought this house 10 years ago, the previous owners left an old desk here in the garage that was made of particle board. It was kind of falling apart. It was real rickety. So I took it apart. I saved the desktop because it was a big flat-ish area, and decided I might do something with that someday. So that day I made it with some scrap 2x4 that I had sitting around. I used a French cleat to mount it to the wall, a couple of legs that hold it up, and it was made for no money, and it works great. And in keeping with that tradition, I decided to make the downdraft table the same way with stuff that I had sitting around, cost absolutely no money. So far, this table has cost me nothing.
So when I originally built this workbench, I had the old desktop that was left in my garage by the previous owners, and I took some simple 2x4 studs and I made a rectangular frame with a center support in the middle for stability. What I found when I wanted to add a downdraft table was that I would need to get rid of this center support and add 2 supports so that I could make an airtight box in the center. And then I was able to cover that box with a piece of Luan, a scrap of Luan that I had sitting around, with a shop vac port epoxied into the middle. The first thing to do was to remove the center 2x4 support. Then I replaced the single support with 2 that were offset to create a box in the middle of the table. To make the box airtight, I caulked all the seams. I had this scrap piece of Luan that just happened to be the right width, or close enough anyway, so I used a circular saw to cut it to the right length. I had a spare shop vac attachment that I decided to use because I had 2 of them, and it had this little lip around the edge. After I positioned it where I wanted it, I traced the shape of the piece, and then I sketched in a line that was inset a bit so that the shop vac attachment would fit in the hole, but hopefully that lip along the edge would stop it from falling through. I drilled a hole as a starting place, and then I used the jigsaw to finish cutting out the center. And it fit perfectly. I lost a bit of footage here, but I used some 5-minute epoxy to secure the attachment in place in the hole. It's really secure and it looks to be airtight. I added some more caulk and then I just screwed the piece of Luan into place. So now I have an airtight box with a vacuum port, so I need some holes on top. Making sure it was aligned with the box I built underneath, I drew a grid with a Sharpie and rulers, and I proceeded to drill a few hundred holes into the desktop. I was starting to get a good collection of sawdust from the drilling, so I turned on the vacuum, and it worked. I'm happy to say that I can tell a big difference when I'm sanding. I don't have a way to measure the airborne dust particles, but I can tell you that there's less fine dust in the air, and it does seem to stay off my clothes better.
So it works great. It draws the sanding dust downward, sucks it away into the vacuum. It keeps it out of my face, keeps it out of my lungs, keeps it off my clothes, and just helps me keep things neater. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you hit the subscribe button to come back for future videos, and we'll see you next time.